Welcome back, Libra. Thank you for joining me for your February 2020 ASMR tarot forecasts. We'll start out with this aromatherapy spray, it's called Stream of Success, and it is cedarwood and red mandarin essential oils suspended in purified spring water. So you have to shake it up good. I don't think it's emulsified. I love the smell. All right, so I have a couple of quartz crystals for this month. I have rose quartz and I have smoky quartz. The large piece of clear quartz that I have right now is my stalactite slice. I enjoy the complexity of that. I like things to be a little more complex. I like smoky quartz a lot for that reason. And, crystals like obsidian and jaspers. I have some jaspers in my ears right now. I have my crackly bonfire candle. All right, Libra. This month I am using the Cosmic Tarot. I love the illustrations. This is not a very expensive deck. The illustrations are beautiful, and you can find it in most occult stores that sell tarot decks. So it's a very accessible deck. The imagery is very easy to discern. I can imagine it would make a pretty good starter deck, but the deck that I used first was a very complex deck. Just depends on how complex you want your starter deck to be. Oh, this shuffle's kind of a mess. Let's cut the deck. Cut the deck a little bit. Shuffle it some more. All right, Libra. There we go. That's a clean shuffle. What do you anticipate for February 2020? Something from 2015. I feel like whatever was going on for you 5 years ago is going to be making a resurgence possibly in your life. That's just an intuitive message coming in for somebody. 2015. I don't know what you were doing at that time. Obviously, it's different for everyone. All right, perfect. So I'm going to deal these cards out facing you. The spread's going to be facing you. The cards will be facing you. And I will hold them up so that you can see all of the correspondences between them. All right. We have a good variation between inverse and upright. If I have too many reversal, I like to redeal because it's just too convoluted. It's not like I'm only trying to get a good reading, like good cards, happy cards, but like sometimes if you have too many reversals, it's just too convoluted, whether it's good or bad. Reversals are not necessarily bad. We have a good balance here. We're starting out with the Six of Swords. This is a card all about travel, possible move, and as you can see, he's got all of these swords pointing at his feet. And you know, Libra is an air sign, so swords are air energy. We also have the Eight of Swords. And this is a really interesting coupling. Because Eight of Swords, you feel trapped in a situation. Six of Swords, you're leaving a situation. So maybe the situation you're leaving is not the one you feel trapped by. And usually Eight of Swords, you're not actually trapped. Usually you only feel like you're trapped. Let's look at the past. We have the World card. This is a very good energy, very happy time in your life that you came out of. We have the 4 fixed signs from the zodiac on the edges. And they also represent the 4 aspects of the Tetramorphin, the 4 archangels. And of course, the dancing maiden in the center of the card. So, and I have my rose quartz for Valentine's Day. Gosh, I'm really sorry. So in the current state of affairs, we have the Ace of Swords, and it's reversed. So because this is a time-dependent reading for February of 2020, specifically, this Ace of Swords is a big change that you're going to make. And I do already see, like, with the Six of Swords, a change, right? Of location or circumstance, at least. But because the Ace of Swords is reversed, it's possible that this change, you're not making it quite yet. Let's look at the future. We have the Empress, and she is in the reverse. This could be a new person coming into your life, possibly a Taurus. Empress is the Taurus card ruled by Venus. But could also be a new creative project for you, a new endeavor. It doesn't have to be a woman necessarily, whether you're a woman or whether you feel like a woman might be coming into your life, bringing that energy in. It could also just speak to divine creation. And because it's reversed and it's in the future, I feel like this is something else that will not be coming in quite by the end of February, but will be coming in possibly like spring or summer. And we have up here in the goal or destiny, we have the Judgment card. The Judgment card is, it's more like a reckoning of your soul. It's not quite like how the Justice card. Justice card is more about court cases, if you've been done wrong, if somebody owes you money or owes you something, or all of those things getting evened out. But the Judgment card isn't quite like that. The Judgment card is more about this spiritual reckoning. It's not a mundane reckoning, it's a spiritual reckoning. So all of these things being worked out in a more esoteric sense. Sorry, my throat has been bothering me since I got back from my trip. I was up in the Pacific Northwest, and the air quality is just so much better up there. Oh, boo-hoo for me. Oh, so sad. Oh, my poor throat. Oh, I can't breathe. I'm so delicate. Sorry. And I wanted to speak about how I see these time-dependent readings. People like to leave these YouTube tarot readings very open-ended for my taste. And I mean, there are people who do videos on YouTube that I really like their channels a lot, that do the pick-a-pile type readings. And that's fine. But I don't really resonate with stuff like that. I think there has to be a little more specificity to it. Like, I mean, especially somebody who watches... I watch a lot of tarot YouTube videos because you pick up all kinds of tips and tricks. Well, there's not really a lot of tricks to it, but finding out how other people read the cards. There's, a lot more available to you if you're putting yourself out there like that. But I feel very strongly about these readings having a particular shelf life. So when I go through and I archive them, like you can see that I've deleted all of the playlists for 2019. And now I have like a master archive of 2019, so that if you want to go back through and watch those videos, you can, but they're not indexed by month. There's only one master index, and this is very specific to February 2020. I'm not going to give the same speech in all the videos, but I felt like it was important to say here in the Libra video, so maybe somebody in particular, or maybe some people go through and watch all the videos and will hear it in this particular video. All right, so this is your current state. It's the Tower reversed. Yes, indeed. we've got all of that going on as we speak. So that really makes a lot of sense. Sometimes when the Tower card is reversed, it's like, oh, this is going to be really rough. But as I just said, time-dependent readings, I think that this is not happening quite yet, but that it's kind of like all of the harbingers are starting to come to you in the month of February, that this is going to come to pass. And what do others see in you? Oh, so we've got the Princess or Page of Wands. It's very interesting. So we do have the Empress reversed in your future. It could be a feminine energy coming in. But we also have the Princess of Wands here, which is how people are perceiving you at this time, or perceiving your situation at this time. The Princess of Wands being possibly a fire sign, but also the Page of Wands is a very nascent creativity that is just starting to wake up. So it could be a situation where you are now that you're kind of being thrown into some of these situations, people are seeing sides of your creativity they haven't seen before. So that's very interesting. Now we have your hopes and fears. We have the King of Pentacles in the reverse. This could be an earth sign in your life. It's like an older, more established gentleman or guy. But it could also be, because it's reversed, could be a fear of not having access to good long-term financial prospects of your own. Which may or may not be the case. I don't see a lot of pentacles here. I do see a lot of swords, which you're a Libra, that's your sign. Let's see the final outcome. Oh, this is cool. So the final outcome, and something that probably will occur in the month of February, is this Ace of Cups. So maybe this person doesn't necessarily come into your life in February, but you get an inclination of their existence, or you see them pop up in your people you may know on Facebook, and you're like, oh, that person's really interesting. Or maybe you start having, like, people are starting to see you have these creative ideas, right? Maybe this Ace of Cups is about a new emotional awakening for you that opens you up to this creative project in the future. And maybe this emotional awakening is what is catalyzing some of these changes as well. All right, so that is all for this part of the reading. And then I was encouraged by my husband, who is a triple Cancer, to pull out this little deck, the Edward Gorey Fan-Toad pack. And one thing I love about Edward Gorey's illustrations is that they're very macabre and dark, but they're also a little bit silly. And part of that silliness comes from the aspect of a lot of his characters fall into these crazy situations because they have more money than sense. So there's like a certain amount of schadenfreude there as well. So schadenfreude, I don't speak German, I'm sorry. But I'm going to draw 3 cards from this deck, and they're not really meant to be anything more than an entertainment, and you'll see what I mean. You'll see what I mean when I pull them, because they're just very, very dark. A lot of very dark things happening in restaurants and on the pier. And I won't be reading reversals for these cards. All right. What do we have here? The blue dog. October. Loss of one of your senses. Weltschmerz. Unnatural vice. Disorders of the knee. Diseases of the tongue. Disturbances. Miscarriage of a child. An accident in a garage. Dementia. Fraud. A quarrel. And wispiness. What next? We have the insects. Some of these cards look very innocuous on the surface. Thursday, folie à deux. Green sickness. Senseless talk. Loss of vitality. An accident in a field. False hopes. Spasms. A refusal. Insincere love. Blisters. Disagreeable news. And threats. That's the insects. And this, our last card. The feather. November. Blackmail. A forged passport. Hysterical pregnancy. Loss of eyelashes. Disorders of the small intestine. A disagreeable letter. Delirium. Hindrance to prospects. Twitching. Separation. Imbroglios were a mistake. There is a lot about hindrance to your creative energies. Maybe that has something to do with this. Or maybe not. It seems like a very silly deck to me. I like it though, and I wanted to share it with you. Spine tingling. Thank you for joining me this month, Libra. I see a lot of really good stuff happening for you in February and beyond. So do come back in March for your March 2020 forecast. I hope that you enjoyed this forecast. Please do like, share, and subscribe. And come back soon.